All right, hello and welcome to project number 4 for online graphic design with Youth Tech Inc. So for this particular project, what we will be doing is we're going to be creating a scene from a different planet. And so this is just going to be kind of combining some things that we've already talked about, such as color corrections and selection boxes, but also just working overall to manipulate images. So feel free for this project to either download images from online or use images from your photography project, number one, or just any other images that you might have that you think can come together to build a scene from a different planet. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on New Project. So I'll click this, and I'm actually going to go to let's say print, and I'll choose the A3 here, and I'm actually going to flip the width and the height here. So I'm going to make the width 420 and the height 297. That way it flips on its side, so it's more of a landscape. And then I'll click create, and we'll let our canvas load. There we go. All right, so now I've got kind of a landscape image here, and we'll start building from this point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my file folder here, and I'm going to navigate to where I've saved some photos on my computer here. So I'm going to go to my downloads folder where I've got quite a few of these folders saved, photos saved. So downloads. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and drag one of these to start off, and I'm just dropping this in, and it's kind of small, so I'm just going to resize it. And almost there. There we go. Okay. That's just kind of a scene of like a grassy hillside, and you press again that check mark to tell the computer you're done selecting it. And so before I add any of my other photos, I'm just going to start looking at ways that I might be able to change this. So if we're looking at a scene from a different planet, obviously this planet right here looks very it looks a lot like Earth because it's green, there's lots of vegetation and everything. So the first thing that we can do is we can, just like we learned earlier in the course, is we can make some color corrections. So I'm just going to go to adjustments, and I'm going to go to hue/saturation, and I'm going to click on that, and we'll give that a second to pop up here. And I'm going to drag this to the right so we can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to just move my hue here just to see kind of what kind of color I can get the scene here to change to. So for example, here we have blue. And you know, I kind of like that. So I think I'm going to go with a blue of sorts. So there's this blue. So that's kind of step number one, is I've got, you know, this new color scheme working for me. So number two is, one thing that we can do is, well, we can get rid of some of these trees. So if I take my eraser tool and I click on that, and I go up here to the brush mode, and you can also change the size of how big your brush is. If I go up here and I start erasing, and it might say smart object must be rasterized first. Rasterize, that just means can you edit it pixel by pixel, and that's okay. And I zoomed out a little bit there. Let's zoom back in. So okay, let's go ahead and try erasing some edges here, some of where the trees are at, and then we will kind of insert new texture into the background. Now, one thing I do want to leave is this little kind of tree branches here that's tall. You can't see the leaves on it. I want to leave that, so I'm kind of I'm going to start off with my big eraser, and I want to be careful to erase both around the grass and around that tree that I pointed out that I want to keep. So it just requires kind of some patience. So again, you erase the big items first, so you make your brush really big to begin with, and then later you can go around and you can make your brush smaller to erase the rest of your image. So again, just erasing a little bit more here, just filling in the inside to erase it. So we're erasing all of that, and then we'll go over here to the left hand side and we'll do just a little bit because it's kind of close to the edge over here. Okay, so I've got that erased, and I can go actually in the middle here and erase just a tiny bit here. So I'll do some of this, and same for the other side here. Alright, so there we go. So I've got quite a bit erased there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try using the magnetic lasso tool that we're already familiar with from when we did our image selection and desaturation. And you know, basically I want to keep my ground here and the tree, and so it looks like this is having a hard time popping up. So looks like our computer's kind of slow to respond. So we'll give this a second to kind of calibrate itself. Okay, so let's give this another try now. So we go back to the magnetic lasso tool, and we're starting off at the bottom here, and looks like it's taking another second to load here. There we go. Okay, and so again, we're just kind of following the outline of this tree here. And remember, you know, clicking every so often helps make it a little bit more precise. So we just follow around all of this. It looks like it's taking a second to catch up here. There we go. Okay, again, we're going down this side of the tree now. So this is, again, this is the tedious part, so feel free to speed up through this part of the video if you'd like. Alright, so now we're coming down near the base of the tree again. And actually we just need to, we can cut across the grass because we're keeping the grass. So now we're going up this side. Again, just we keep going around the edge. And so all the while we're doing this, just keeping in mind too, what other things are we going to do to make this a scene from another planet? So just being aware of that. Alright, so here we go, coming across the top, and this certainly is not going to be perfect, but we're just kind of trying our best to make it as clean as possible. So now we're going up kind of the last leg of the tree here. So now we go up this way. And coming back down. And then we go out on this branch. You know, get a little bit of this black branch right here. And we might need to make a change in that selection area later. It went a little bit off the line, but that's okay. And so again, we're just coming back down now, all the way back down the side of the tree. Alright, and then the next thing we'll do is we'll finish off by going and clicking on our original start point. And there we go. We've selected all of our tree here. And so one thing that we'll need to do is we're going to inverse this. So actually, probably a better idea would be to copy this first. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit, Copy, just so we've got a copy here. And I think what I'll do now is going to take the selection tool and delete down to a clean line of the grass and press delete, and then paste what I had just copied. And okay, so there we go. There's the tree. And so looks like I erased a little bit too much, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of backstep here. So let me do not quite as much here. So I'll try this again. Okay, and then actually I probably need to delete the amount that I originally had because we erased some of the rest over here, so it would not be even. So let's actually go back to what I had a moment ago. So I will delete quite a bit. And again, this is just another example of some of the trial and error process here. So I'll click Edit, Paste, and there's the tree. And so now you can see that there's a bit of a disconnect here. So what I'm going to do is if I zoom in, I can start to try and fill this in a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move in here, get real close. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this side right here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to erase some of the excess here that is kind of off to the side. So I'm going to reduce my size significantly to about probably here. There we go. And then erase this part right here. Alright, now that I've erased that, I'll probably go over here to my magnetic lasso tool again here. And I click, I'll probably click right here. And it's going to give us a second to load. So we'll wait for it to catch up. So we'll just play the waiting game for a second while this catches up to speed. There we go. All right. And you can see for this one, I'm not staying to the edge of the shape because I'm trying to fill in what's missing here. So I'm going all the way down to this one right here, and then going across, and then as you can see, I'm traveling back up toward the top of this tree, and then I'm going to cut across back to my original starting point, just like that. Alright, so now I've got the selection area, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my brush tool, my paintbrush. There we go. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit thicker, so we'll increase the size here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do next is, if I find my color at the bottom here, I need the same color as kind of what you see right here. So I click on that and it automatically selects that color. And then I start to fill that in. And so I'm just starting to add that color here. And now I know it doesn't look great at first. It looks pretty solid. And you can very visibly see the cut in the paint color. But what you can do then is, and you do this multiple times through a series, is you want to now reduce your brush size just a little bit, and then we'll go back to our painting here, and we're going to change the color. So I'm going to click now on the dark part, and I'm going to do some shadows. So I press OK, and I'm just going to add some shadowy kind of color off to the left here. And we're going to go all the way down to match the shadowy part on the bottom. And so we'll fill that in all the way. And then the next part after I'm done with the shadow is obviously we need to add some a little bit of highlight. So now we go back to our paint here, and we're going to select the highlight color, and then we'll press OK here, and now we're just introducing a little bit of highlight on this side. And again, it's not perfect, but it's kind of just a little bit to begin with. So we start there, and now I'll go ahead and unselect this. And if I zoom out a little bit, again, it's not perfect, but when you look at it kind of from the wide view here, it looks fairly decent. Alright, so now that we've done that side, the next thing that we need to do is we need to do the other side, of course. So we're going to kind of zoom back in here, and again, you know, the previous side, like I said, it's not perfect, but it's you know, kind of something. And again, once you publish it, it kind of blurs things a little bit, and it starts to blend things together a little bit better. So we'll go back to that magnetic selection tool, and we're going to start off again on the side over here, and we're just going to start finding our way down the side here. And we'll go all across here. And then back up the right hand side. And then back toward the middle. And we'll give this a second to play catch up to get back up to speed here. Okay, so here we go. So then we finish off by clicking on the end here, and there we go. Alright, so same kind of deal as last time. And one thing that we can do differently is if we go to our paintbrush, we can change our brush. So instead of using a really solid one, we can use one that is kind of softer. So that's one way that we can kind of help. So I'll start with the midtone here, and I'm going to make my brush bigger. So I'm just filling this in. You can see how this starts to blend kind of just a little bit better. So there we go, there's some of that. And then we are going to change our color to the shadowy side again. And we add that along the left hand side, and you can already see kind of what difference the softer brush makes. And now we'll go back to our light side. We'll do two versions of the light side, kind of the bottom here, and then we'll do the top. And there we go. Alright, so kind of deselect that, and I zoom back out now. And again, the tree looks, you know, if you look closely, you can kind of see parts of the separation there, but it looks better than it did. So the next thing is, if we go to our original background layer, we can actually, from what we learned in our nameplate tutorial, add a red gradient background to help again convey the idea of a alien planet. So I'll change this to gradient, and for the sky here, we'll make the color like red. So this is going to go from dark red. So I'll go up here to the red category. So here's a nice vibrant kind of dark red. When we press OK. And this is going to go to a lighter red. And I press OK. Alright, so there we go. Again, kind of another look at the alien planet. So there's a little bit of that. So at this point, you know, there's other things that you could do. I had a rock that I downloaded from the internet, so you could add a big old rock to your photo here. And so for this particular photo, it's two photos attached together, so I want the rock that's on the right hand side. So if I go ahead and use my crop tool, I can get rid of the photo on the left hand side. So I click crop over here, and then I select just the rock, and it crops out what I did not select. Well, let's do that again. It cropped the entire page. Let's try that one. We'll just try the erase tool instead, just for right now. So we'll make the erase tool super big. Here we go. Yes, we'll go ahead and rasterize it. Alright, so here goes the erase tool. And we're erasing all that. So that's all gone. And then we can erase kind of around the edges of the rock here. Okay, so then with the rock itself, you've got a couple options. You can use the magnetic selection tool again to kind of take out parts of the background here to help make it kind of a clean background. One other thing we can try and do is we can go to blending options, and if we, let's see, let's try taking out some of the blue background in this particular image. You can see it's starting to disappear a little bit, but it's also taking out some of the highlight in the rock. So that's not quite right either. So let's choose blue. So blend if it's blue. So you can see that that's starting to work a little bit. And you know, it took out some of the rock too, but it almost adds kind of this interesting effect. So if I drag this down and I put this in the corner, you know, maybe it's a rock that's mimicking its environment. So as like I said, it took out a little bit of the highlights on the rock, but that's another way that you can take out parts of a background. So again, for this assignment, you're just focusing on creating a scene from a different planet. And when you're done with this, feel free to go ahead and move on to project number 5, and we will see you there.